years ago today, in 2003, Australia's population passed 20 million. We are now up to 26 million. But when you have a look at the ABS predictions, some people will be quite frightened by this. 8 years away, 2032, we will likely have a population of more than 30 million, 31 million within 8 years. We're at 26 at the moment. By 2071, we well could have a population of 46 million, not shy of double what we have now. Can we handle a population of double? I don't think we can. Leith Van Olsen is Chief Economist and co-founder of Macro Business. G'day, Leith.
G'day, Clinton. Thanks for having me on.
Could we handle a population of pretty much double of what we have at the moment?
Look, mate, I honestly, we can probably handle it, but it won't be very good living conditions. We'll basically be living in high-rise shoe boxes. We'll have permanent water shortages, and we'll have to spend tens of billions of dollars on water desalination because we just simply won't have enough water. It was only 4 years ago that Sydney was running desperately low on water, and then obviously we had a 3-year La Nina event. What's going to happen next time we have a drought and we've got millions more people who need water? We're going to obviously run out unless we build desalination plants left, right and centre and somehow pump the water 50 kilometres inland to Western Sydney, which is where we're dumping most of the people. We'll also have worsening traffic congestion, and it's basically going to be the death of the Australian dream right there. So yes, we could do it, but we're not going to maintain Australia's high quality of life. And I'll just add something, quickly. It took Australia 215 years to reach a population of 20 million. And we've increased the population by 6.5 million people over the last 20 years. So that's an increase of 1/3 in just 20 years. And according to the Intergeneration Report, we will have doubled the population from 20 years ago by 2063. So we're going to go from what was 20 million people 20 years ago in just 60 years to 40.5 million people. So this, the population growth we've seen over the past 20 years has been off the charts. And the sad thing is it's projected to be off the charts for the next 40 years. And all it means is that, places like Sydney will go from 4 million people at the turn of the century to about 9 million people by 2060. So, that just means your quality of life is going to continue to be destroyed. And let's be real. If you live in Sydney, you've seen it destroyed over the last 20 years. Like everything's gotten worse.
The cost of living and the cost of housing in particular, whether it's paying a mortgage or rent, has been one of the biggest issues of the year. Of course, the Prime Minister has spent most of the year outside of the country, so he hasn't directly been addressing it. Do you think that Australians are ready to adopt a lifestyle where we are all living in units? We don't have a quarter-acre block with a backyard anymore.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, really, the quarter-acre block's always been a bit of a myth. Like, there's very few people actually have ever lived in a quarter-acre block. But I get your point. Basically going from detached houses with backyards was the norm sort of 30, 40 years ago and before that to basically high-rise living. And, just to put some figures around that, the Urban Task Force released some data after the 2016 census. And what they said was that Sydney's overall dwelling stock in 2016 was 56% of people lived in detached houses and the rest lived in apartments and townhouses. But by 2056, which is the projection they did, they said that only 25% of people, so 1/4 of Sydney-siders would live in a detached house, half would live in apartments and a quarter would live in townhouses. So that's a massive change in, a relatively short period of time. We've basically gone from detached house living with people with backyards to only 25% of people live in detached houses. And you can guess which 25% they're going to be, Clinton. They're going to be, more likely to be the wealthy. So effectively, your everyday Sydney-sider is going to be living in a high-rise dog box. It's great for high-rise Harry, but not so good for, the ordinary resident.
Migration. Now, the birth rate has been declining over the past 20 years or so. We're a country that's built on migration, and it's brought wonderful things to this country overall. We are looking at, 400,000 to 500,000 people coming into the country in the next 12 months. In the short term, and I know that we've got a lot of shortages of workers across so many sectors, do you think we're positioned to handle that sort of growth in the short term?
No, because basically the last year we've added about 500,000 net overseas migrants, and we've seen what's happened to the rental market. So effectively the rental vacancy rates collapsed to its all-time low of about 1% across the capital cities. We're also seeing rents go through the roof. And effectively, if we continue that process, we're just going to have an even more tightening rental market, ongoing high rents. And basically what this means is that people are going to be forced to live in group houses or they're going to be pushed onto the streets. And it's going to be a continuation of what we've just had in the last 12 months. So absolutely not. We are not ready for it. and we haven't coped well the last 12 months, and we're not going to cope well the next 12 months.
Do you think the government's actually going to listen to people who actually understand this?
Well, no, I don't think they will. Unfortunately, the Albanese government actually signed 2 migration deals with India about 3 or 4 months ago that basically opens the border with them, which basically makes it a lot easier for people from India to come to Australia to work, live and stay. So if anything, that's a country of 1.4 billion people that's growing quickly. If anything, there's a good chance that migration is going to stay at high levels permanently. Not necessarily the level we've seen the last year, which is off the charts. It's 500,000. But basically what it means is that Australia's pretty much locked in high immigration, forever now, which means that we're going to get this massive population growth and all the pressures that it brings to places like Sydney and Melbourne.
Massive challenges ahead of us. Thank you for your time, Leith.
Yeah, no worries, Clinton. Anytime.